The morning of my wedding should have felt magical, but instead, it felt like judgment. Everywhere I walked, whispers followed me like shadows. My Aunt Linda leaned toward another relative and said loud enough for half the guests to hear, "This is it? No fancy decor? No designer stage? Looks like they couldn't afford a real wedding." The words stung sharper than the pins holding my veil in place. My cousins were busy taking selfies, complaining under their breath. "What are we supposed to post on Instagram? This looks like a backyard barbecue, not a wedding." I tried to smile, tried to swallow the lump in my throat, but the truth was they all believed I was broke, that my husband, Arav, was broke, that our families had scraped together the cheapest event possible. No one knew the real reason we chose to keep everything small, quiet, and simple. Only Arav understood. He walked up to me, took my hand, and whispered in my ear with a calm but heavy tone, "Don't let them bother you. After tonight, everything changes." His words felt like a secret no one else was supposed to hear. The ceremony ended. Guests began crowding around the buffet. Some were gossiping, others comparing my wedding to ones they had attended last month. I stood at a distance, trying to catch my breath, when a black SUV rolled slowly to a stop right outside the gate. It was sleek, tinted, and definitely not part of our guest list. 3 of my uncles turned their heads at the same time. "Who's that? Everyone invited is already here," one of them said. A tall man stepped out, sharp suit, black sunglasses, expression unreadable. He didn't look left or right, he walked straight toward me with purpose, like he had rehearsed this moment. My heartbeat kicked up. He stopped right in front of me, reached into his coat and pulled out a black sealed envelope. No greeting, no explanation, just one sentence in a low, controlled voice. "It's time. The house is ready." My mother's head snapped toward us. "What house?" But before I could answer, a loud metallic bang exploded from the parking area. People screamed, silver plates crashed to the ground, children burst into tears as guests ran toward the noise. I lifted my down and rushed too. At the far end of the parking lot were fresh tire marks, deep and curved, the kind made by someone speeding away in panic. Someone had been watching us, someone had been waiting, and the second that envelope reached my hands, they bolted. My uncle shouted, "Is someone trying to sabotage the wedding? What is going on?" I had no words, none, because inside me, a fear I thought I buried years ago started to wake up again. Arav stepped close, his face tight and serious. "We need to get the family out of here now." My mom grabbed my arm. "Tell us what is happening. What is this envelope? What house?" My throat felt dry, but I forced myself to open it. Inside was a golden key, smooth, heavy, engraved, and a note, "Welcome to your new home, the secure one." But below the writing, there was a red emblem, a symbol I knew far too well, a symbol connected to the darkest part of my past. I felt my knees weaken. Arav took my hand, voice dropping to a whisper meant only for me. "If he knows about the house, we're not safe anymore." My mother's eyes widened in shock. "He? Who is he? What danger are you talking about?" But I couldn't look at her. My world had already begun to crack. Minutes later, we were in the car. The wedding guests stood confused, whispering as we left early, but Arav didn't care. Neither did I. As the streetlights flashed across the windshield, I stared at the key again. My fingers shook, because on the back of the key, scratched faintly, almost invisible, was a name, his name, the man I once escaped from, the man who disappeared without a trace, the man who once warned me, "If you ever marry someone else, I will come for you." My breathing grew shallow. He knew. He knew I got married today. He knew where I was. He knew about the house we built in secret. He knew everything. And tonight, he sent a message. Arav squeezed my hand with a tremor in his voice. "Mira, don't panic. We'll reach the house soon. It's the safest place we have." But I wasn't looking at him. My eyes were fixed on the dark window, because reflected in the glass, for a split second, I saw headlights behind us, too close, following us, matching our speed. My stomach dropped. He wasn't just watching, he was coming to welcome me home. The drive to the new house felt endless. No one in the car spoke. Not my mother, not my cousins, not even Arav. The only sound was the steady hum of the tires on the road, and the unsettling presence of a car behind us, keeping perfect distance. I kept glancing into the side mirror. The headlights never faded, never turned, never passed, just followed. My palms grew cold, because I knew exactly who it could be. After almost 40 minutes, the road narrowed into a private wooded area. Dense trees, fog drifting low, silence everywhere. Finally, the gates appeared. Tall, sleek black steel with hidden cameras. My mother gasped. What even is this place? Arav pressed a button on the dashboard. The gates slid open automatically. As the car rolled inside, the mansion emerged through the trees, a massive, modern structure of glass, stone, and warm lighting. 5 stories, infinity pools stretching across one side, floor-to-ceiling windows, a rooftop helipad, landscaped gardens glowing under soft outdoor lights. My relatives were stunned into silence. My cousin whispered, "This looks like something out of a billionaire's magazine." My aunt's jaw literally dropped. 5 million? 10 million? What is this place? We stepped out of the car. Arav spoke calmly. "This is our home, and tonight it's also our protection." My mother grabbed my arm. "Protection from who? What is happening to you, Mira?" I looked at her, heart heavy. "I'm sorry, Mom. There's a lot I never told you." Inside the mansion, revelations. As we entered, the mansion lit up automatically. Soft golden lighting, marble floors, a giant chandelier made of hand-blown crystal, an indoor waterfall flowing down a stone wall, a glass elevator at the center. My cousins filmed everything on their phones, their earlier insults forgotten. My aunt, who mocked my wedding, now whispered, This isn't ordinary at all." But while the family admired the home in awe, I remained tense, because this mansion wasn't built for luxury, it was built for survival. A security system coded to my biometrics, panic rooms hidden behind walls, bulletproof windows, multiple escape tunnels, motion sensors tracking every step, a control room monitoring every inch of the property. And only 3 people knew this house existed: me, Arav, and the firm who built it. Or so we thought. We walked upstairs to show the family the master suite, but before entering, Arav halted. The door was slightly open. My stomach dropped. "I locked this last week," he whispered. He reached for the handle slowly, pushed the door open. Everything seemed untouched, neat, perfect, except for one thing. On the enormous mirror above the vanity, something was carved, deep, sharp, fresh. "Welcome home, my bride." My breath stopped. Behind me, someone screamed. My mother covered her mouth, horrified. Arav clenched his fists. His voice cracked with controlled rage. He was here. My aunt stumbled backward. "Who was here? Who wrote that? What is going on?" I couldn't speak, because seeing those words brought back the memories I had tried so hard to bury. I turned toward my family, shaking. "There's something you all need to know," I began. Years of fear trembled in my voice. "Before I met Arav, before any of this,
there was someone else. My cousin frowned. A boyfriend? I shook my head. No, a stalker. Every face in the room tensed. He wasn't normal. He was obsessive, smart, manipulative. He followed me everywhere, called me from unknown numbers. Once he broke into my old apartment just to leave a note saying he knew what dress I wore that day. My mother gasped, horrified. I filed reports, changed numbers, moved cities, but he always found me. And then, one day, he disappeared. I took a shaky breath. I thought he was finally gone. Arav put a hand on my shoulder. But last month, he continued for me, we got a message, a warning. I nodded. He found out I was getting married. He found out about Arav, and he said, in my voice cracked, if I ever became someone else's bride, he would come back for me. Silence, shock, fear, confusion, it filled the room. My mother whispered in a trembling voice, "Why didn't you tell us?" "Because I didn't want my past to destroy your present." Arav added, "That's why we built this house, quietly, secretly. It's not a mansion, it's a fortress, a safe place. Until now." Suddenly, beep, 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 the mansion lights blinked red. A robotic voice echoed. Unidentified movement detected. Level 2 breach. Everyone froze. Arav and I sprinted toward the hallway screen. Security footage flickered, static interruptions, grainy frames, motion blur. But then we saw it. A figure walking through the garden. Tall, slow, deliberate. But the face was obscured by a black hood. My skin crawled. Arav tried switching cameras, but one by one they began to fail. Pop, pop, pop. Offline, offline, offline. My mother screamed, "Is he inside? Is he coming here?" I stared at the screen. The last remaining camera flickered violently. A single frame appeared. A pale face, a sinister smirk, eyes staring directly into the camera. Then, static. All systems went dark. The house fell silent. Too silent. Behind us, from the far end of the hallway, footsteps, slow, echoing. Inside the mansion, not outside. Inside. My heart slammed against my ribs. Arav whispered, barely breathing, "He's here." My mother whispered shakily, "Mira, what do we do?" The footsteps came closer, and then a voice, low and chilling, drifted down the hall. "Congratulations on your wedding, my bride."
The hallway fell silent, the kind of silence that sticks to your skin, that squeezes your lungs, that warns you you're not alone. And then, the slow, steady footsteps echoed again. My mother clutched my arm so tightly it hurt. My younger cousins huddled together behind the marble column, shaking. Arav positioned himself in front of me, his voice low, trembling but trying to stay in control. "Everyone, stay behind me, don't move." But the footsteps were already approaching the second-floor landing, each one slower than the last, as if whoever, whatever was up there wanted us to feel every moment of fear. Suddenly, boom, the entire mansion went dark. Lights gone, heating off, security disabled, backup generators dead. My safe house, our fortress, had just been stripped naked. My aunt screamed. Someone else started crying. In the pitch black, chaos swallowed the room. I grabbed Arav's sleeve, whispering with my pulse hammering. "This isn't possible. The house has 4 backup grids." But he already knew what I was thinking. No system fails this completely unless someone on the inside knew exactly how to break it.
Arav pulled out a small tactical flashlight from the hallway drawer and clicked it on. Its thin beam of white light cut through the darkness like a blade, and there, at the top of the stairs, stood a silhouette. Tall, still, watching us. Then the voice came again, soft, tainted with a twisted kind of affection. "Mira, you look even more beautiful in the dark." My breath stopped. My legs nearly gave out. It was him, not an imposter, not a random intruder. My stalker. The man who had followed me for almost 2 years. The man who vanished and left me believing I was finally free. He stepped down one stair, another, and another. The beam of the flashlight shook in Arav's hand. I whispered, "Don't move. Don't provoke him." My mother whimpered behind us. "Why is he here? Why is this happening?" I couldn't answer, because even I didn't know how he found the house, a property hidden under false names, private land, encrypted files, and biometric locks, unless he'd been watching us long before today. Halfway down the stairs, the stalker slowly raised his hand. In his palm was a small metallic object. Arav stiffened. "Stop! What is that?" he demanded. The man laughed softly and tossed the device toward the floor. It clattered across the marble, spinning, blinking red. My heart froze. Not a bomb, not a weapon. Worse, a military-grade signal jammer. In seconds, every phone in the room died. Every emergency beacon dropped offline. Any hope of calling for help disappeared. We were completely cut off. The mansion was no longer a fortress. It was a trap. Arav grabbed my hand and whispered sharply, "We're going to the basement panic room. Everyone, move." The family rushed behind us as we ran toward the back staircase. I kept looking over my shoulder, praying he wasn't following, but I knew he was, because I could feel him, like a shadow glued to my spine. We reached the basement door. Arav entered the code. Nothing. He tried again. The keypad blinked red. Error. Lockdown mode activated. He cursed under his breath. He hacked it. He hacked everything. Footsteps echoed from upstairs. Slow, steady, deliberate. He wasn't rushing. He wanted us to run, to panic, to break. We backed away from the locked basement door. My cousin cried, "How does he know all this? The codes, the system?" Arav answered, voice tight with fear. "Someone on the building crew sold information. They had to. There's no other way." My stomach twisted. He knew the layout, the blind spots, the safe rooms. This house, meant to protect us, was now his playground. Suddenly, the emergency lights flickered on. Dim red lights, barely bright enough to see shapes. And there, down the hallway, we saw him clearly for the first time. He stepped under the faint glow. His face pale, his smile cold, eyes that looked at me like I belonged to him. My throat closed. He lifted a hand and pointed directly at me. "You shouldn't have married him, Mira." Arav snapped, "Stay away from her." The stalker tilted his head, then whispered, "Or what? You already built me the perfect home." Arav lunged forward in anger, but I grabbed him. "No, that's what he wants. Don't go near him." The stalker smirked. He raised something else, a remote. He pressed a button, and the house shook. A deep, rumbling vibration rolled through the floors. My heart leapt into my throat. Arav shouted over the noise. "He triggered the internal lockdown. All exits are sealing." We rushed to the nearest door. A steel panel slammed shut before we reached it. Another, and another. Every path out was gone. The stalker slowly descended the last few stairs until he stood at the bottom. He looked straight into my eyes, calm and disturbingly certain. "I told you, Mira, if you became someone else's bride," his smile widened, "I would come for you." He took one more step. And tonight, Arav pulled me behind him, shouting, "You won't touch her." The stalker raised the remote again, this time pressing a blue button. A giant digital screen on the hallway wall flickered on. Static. Then, live footage. Security camera feed of the master bedroom, of the carved message, "Welcome home, my bride." But then the camera panned. Not by itself. Someone was holding it, and a figure appeared on the screen. Someone tied to a chair, struggling, gagged. My aunt screamed. My mother nearly fainted. I stared at the screen, horrified and frozen, because the person tied up was one of our wedding guests, a young cousin who had gone missing earlier without anyone noticing. He was alive, but terrified. The stalker leaned towards us and whispered, "This is only the beginning."